Mike Tyson versus Roy Jones Jr. It's a fight that literally nobody asked for. A showdown between two men who haven't come within touching distance of their respective fighting primes since the turn of the century. A pair of middle-aged legends lacing up gloves for an 8-round exhibition matchup that, according to its official billing, will be nothing more than an opportunity for these heavyweight icons to move around a bit and give the fans a glimpse of what could have been. If we're looking purely at the fight's official description as we heard it, this bout will serve as an exhibition that may or may not involve the use of headgear. Supposedly that decision, like a few others that we will soon discuss, will come down to what Tyson and Jones want to do themselves. There has been quite a lot of understandable confusion about what exactly this fight will entail. With a pay-per-view price set at $49.99, should fans expect a competitive matchup between these thunderous knockout artists? One that will see them attempting to shut their opponents' lights out in the pursuit of some late career high. The details are quite scattered. According to the billing, the fight will not be scored in the conventional sense by a group of ringside judges. It will begin and end either by the clock or by the hand of either man. So what exactly should we expect to see, and more importantly, how much of this has been agreed on beforehand? Has a deal been put in place between both parties that insists on a gentle sparring scenario where nothing more shall be achieved than an overstated dress rehearsal? Or if things do get heated in there, does this fight have the potential to get ugly? I would have expected that a bout between these two aging soldiers would have a lot of restrictions in place, but as we all know, boxing is a tough sport to get away from when that urge kicks in again. Mike Tyson is a man with a turbulent past. Perhaps I'm understating it, but even an entry-level knowledge of the man in his prime years will be enough to tell you that he was at one time a slave to the darkness that dwelled within him. Countless instances of public violence, professional controversy, and downright inexcusable conduct in his private life came as a consequence of this man's exposure to a wild and dangerous world at a very young age. After capturing the heavyweight title at the age of 20, Iron Mike's world was well and truly turned upside down, as this thoroughly misunderstood and confused force of nature began to crack under the pressure. In his later years, Tyson has been nothing less than an open book when it comes to his past struggles. Something that has endeared him to the mainstream world as a sympathetic figure, a man molded by the wrongs of his past. And from watching hours upon hours of interviews and podcast appearances featuring the former heavyweight champion, it does look as though this is a man who is feeling the weight of the many sins of his past. This older Tyson is a wiser person, one shaped by his history of excess and a deliberate effort to slow himself down in every sense of the word as he moves further into his later life. A memorable appearance on the Joe Rogan Experience podcast was a perfect example of Mike's complicated relationship with his past self.
You know, Joe, that's really crazy, but when you think about this, listen, being that person, that guy, that sent me to psych ward a couple of times. That sent me to so many other places, to prison. That sent me places. That guy is a trip.
Yeah.
That's a trip.
That guy had you in underwear holding a tiger on a chain.
Yeah, that's a trip, man.
The whole conversation stood as something of a cautionary tale about a superstar who was living his life as the baddest man on the planet. A man whose ego was being built up further with each passing fight, with each passing achievement. Surrounded and in many ways trapped by this lifestyle, Mike Tyson spun out of control, leaving behind a boxing career that was hindered unimaginably by his demons. So when Rogan asked him about his life now, Tyson's answer was one that seemed to indicate some level of inner peace. He spoke about slowing down, looking into some other business pursuits, as well as some mind-altering psychedelic experiences. Where before he was lost completely, this version of Mike Tyson seemed to be on a path towards both inner peace and contentment. He acknowledged the monster that he once was with a level of self-awareness that is not common, even among people who have also touched such highs and lows. But for me, the most interesting revelation from that interview came when Tyson was asked if he still trained or not.
Do you work out anymore?
Nah, man, I keep away from that stuff, man.
You don't even like
all that stuff,
spin class or anything?
No, all that stuff reactivates my ego.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
When I get ripped and all that stuff, they reactivate it. And if I activate my ego, I'm going to lose in life. Yeah. I'm going to lose. I'm going to lose in this cannabis. I'm going to lose everything.
What if you go jogging? Can you go jogging?
Nah, I don't do I do my treadmill work and stuff.
Oh, okay, treadmill. That's it. But
if I start to think that I'm special, if I get a glimmer of that thing, say, hey, whoa.
To many people's surprise, Iron Mike revealed that he didn't even hit the bag anymore. In his own way, he saw training, sparring, and drilling as tapping into that ego once again. He saw it as channeling the man he once was. And he spoke of that with a level of understandable fear in his voice that made it seem as though he was genuinely worried about succumbing to his dark side once again. Iron Mike Tyson, one of the most feared boxers to ever walk the planet, unwilling to even train or work on a heavy bag, such was the level of reluctance and uncertainty he held in regards to his own ego. This, in essence, is what truly confuses me about his fight with Roy Jones Jr. Are we to take Tyson's return as confirmation that he has finally found the peace within himself necessary to tap into his past life and return to the ring? Or is this something truly dark and worrying? I can't say with any degree of certainty that I understand exactly what is going on. Take it with a pinch of salt, but we do know that Tyson cut a tremendously aggressive figure in the bout's official promo, speaking with a level of venom that would indicate that he's truly feeling like his old self once again.
I mean, I'm saying, you think you fly, huh? You ain't shit. Look, the amateur get here, kick your ass. You better get on top of your game. You want to get embarrassed in front of these people?
In that promo, he mentions the two conflicting sides of his ego and how he feels compelled to truly put a beating on Roy Jones Jr. Let us keep in mind that this may be nothing more than fight promotion, but it's important to make a note of nonetheless. So what happens if a Mike Tyson with bad intentions goes out there looking for an actual fight, looking to put his opponent down? Very little is known about how strictly this fight will be kept to its label as an exhibition contest. But based on that label alone, are these two men knowingly going to be shackled by a pre-bout agreement? And if so, what happens if the bright lights prove to be something of a trigger for the seemingly fired up Mike Tyson? I wouldn't be asking this question if it weren't for the fact that Tyson didn't want to have anything to do with boxing, didn't want to have anything to do with training over a year ago. My hope for this fight is that it doesn't get ugly, that these two go out there and do whatever they need to do to both stay safe, but also to give the fans their money's worth to some degree. I don't know what that would entail, but based on what I know of Mike Tyson at this point in his life, there's just something weird about the entire notion of him being involved in a boxing contest, no matter what the circumstances. I do hope that this fight is exactly what it is advertised as. Neither man needs 8 rounds of boxing at this point in their life.
Mike Tyson, Roy Jones. Who you got?
Yeah.